And we're back. Next on the agenda, we have a speaker from Actian. Remember to use theater mode to maximize your view during this session. Take it away.
That's great. Thank you, Chris. My name is Emma McGrattan, and what I'm going to talk to you about today is how to turbocharge operational analytics in the cloud with Actian technology. So my name is Emma McGrattan, and I'm Senior Vice President for Product Engineering here at Actian. I'd love to connect to you through LinkedIn, or you can connect to me directly by emailing emma@actian.com. I've been in the data space for 28 years, and Actian's actually been around for over 30 years. We have three main product areas. We have hybrid cloud data warehousing, which is what we're going to focus on today. We have our mission critical data management product portfolio, as well as our enterprise data integration technologies. We're really focused on performance, and to prove that out, we lead industry benchmarks in terms of delivering high performance at great value. While many people haven't heard of the name Actian, we are in 24 of the Fortune 100, and we have over 3,000 customers globally. What you'll see represented across the bottom of the screen here are some of the logos of the companies that use Actian today for their data management needs. We're going to dig into two of these later in the presentation. So what I'm going to talk to you about right now is how we view analytics today. Many organizations start their analytics journey with descriptive analytics. So this is before you make a change, you're going to check on what's happened in the past, right? So for instance, if we're driving a car, we're about to do a lane change, we want to see what's happening behind us. And from that, we can determine whether or not it's safe to make that change. It's the same thing in business, right? We use statistics and we use logistical regressions to see what's happened behind us and make sure that as we make a change, it's for the good and it's going to be safe. Next up, we have the predictive analytics. And you could think of this as like the GPS in your car. What the GPS is going to determine for you is which is the best route to take to get to your end destination. And it's going to figure in things like traffic at the instance at which you're encountering it. Maybe an accident has happened a quarter mile just ahead of you, and it's going to redirect based upon that. We can think of this as machine learning is very much like a predictive analytics solution. And then finally, what the holy grail is prescriptive analytics. And this is where, the holy grail today is a car making all of the decisions for you. You tell the car where you want to go and it handles everything else for you. So it's that self-driving, autonomous cars. Here we can think about cognitive analytics, and that's where I think most organizations are aiming to get to in the coming years. So what has Actian done in terms of operational analytics, and how have we evolved our solution to meet the evolving needs of the market? Well, first off, we think it's really important to deliver ad hoc performance at scale. And this means, as data volumes increase, providing the end user with access to all of the decisions and the decision-making capabilities based upon all of the data, we believe is hugely important. Separating storage and compute in a cloud technology is hugely important because it gives you the ability to scale the compute resources to meet your business needs at a given time. So it could be that you have a business where you have very busy periods, maybe it's at the end of the week, maybe it's the beginning of the week, end of month, end of quarter, end of year, and so on. And what this allows you to do is to scale the environment to meet those business needs and then scale it back down again when that need has diminished. We think that most technologies most businesses that are operating operational analytics need to be able to connect to all of the data sources that are going to enable their business analysts to make the best decision. So including data integration as part of the solution is hugely important. And we also think that delivering this at a low TCO is important. We see in all of our customers that they want to provide all of the decision makers in the business with access to all of the data and the tools to make the best decisions for the business. So we're constantly seeing concurrency growing. Everybody wants to have access to all of the data, and that means more users in the systems, which means you need an architecture that can support that. Hybrid deployment flexibility means that you can deploy the technology wherever it makes sense for your business, and providing support for structured and semi-structured data is hugely important as well. And finally on here, how we define operational analytics is it's analyzing your business operations as you're transacting business, so that live data updates, always working on fresh data, we believe is essential to an operational analytics solution. So to solve this, we've introduced to market a product called Actian Avalanche. And Actian Avalanche is a cloud data warehouse that's very quickly evolving into a cloud data platform. So it's a fully managed multi-cloud data warehouse service available today on AWS, Azure, as well as Google Cloud. It's got a cloud-native architecture and is built to deliver high performance at scale. Mentions the hybrid deployment and its importance. Most businesses that we talk to have very interesting needs when it comes to data deployments. They may have data puddles across different cloud infrastructures, or they may have security and compliance requirements that require that they keep data assets on premises. And what they want to be able to do is adopt a single technology that can address their on-premises data needs as well as their cloud data needs, and that can grow and shrink to meet the ever-changing demands of the business. And then doing this, cost has never been more important to businesses, right? As what we've been through over the past 15 months, I think we're very cost conscious now. Every organization's making sure that they're getting as most value as they can out of every dollar that they're spending. So to prove out the cost equation and the value that we can derive from Actian Avalanche, we engaged a company called GigaOM to perform a benchmark on our technology. And what GigaOM did was they took a 30 terabyte TPCH benchmark and they ran that against Avalanche, Snowflake, Redshift, Synapse, and BigQuery. And what you see represented in these two graphs are the time it took to complete the benchmark for each of those technologies. And this time is measured in seconds. So the smaller, the better. And on the right-hand graph, what you see is the price to deliver that benchmark result set. And this is measured in dollars. So again, smaller is better. In both of these graphs, what you'll see is that the Avalanche, which is the dark blue bar in each of the graphs, is significantly smaller than the competition. So let's dig into this a little further. We've built Avalanche to deliver unmatched performance. So going back to that benchmark report, for 5 users to execute that benchmark, it took 2,000 seconds in Avalanche. For Snowflake, a competitor that we see all of the time, it took almost 17,500 seconds. So about 8 times faster than Snowflake can deliver on that same set of benchmark queries at 30 terabytes. Similarly, with BigQuery, they fared very similar to Snowflake in that for their query set, it took just over 16,000 seconds. So if performance really matters to your business, and if the high performance that you can get out of a technology like Avalanche means that your business can make more money, then it's certainly worth investigating. As I mentioned earlier, we've designed the solution to support large numbers of concurrent users, and many of our customers will have thousands or tens of thousands of active users, which will equate to about a few hundred concurrent users. So that performance that we deliver is delivered at tremendous value. So if we look at the graph on this slide, what you'll see is that the cost of performing that benchmark for 5 concurrent users. For Avalanche, it was $145. For Snowflake, $931, right? So we are significantly better value for money. And as I mentioned earlier, everybody's very cost focused right now, making sure that they get value from every dollar spent. And the Actian Avalanche technology is designed to deliver on exactly that. I mentioned already that this benchmark was conducted at 30 terabytes. As you increase that data volume and you increase the user volume, the performance advantage and the price performance advantage that we deliver over our competition only grows. So the more users and the more data, the better the technology can deliver on performance and value. Hybrid deployment, as I've mentioned, is very important to many of our accounts. So we've delivered this technology across 3 different public cloud platforms, AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud. We also can deliver the technology in an on-premises footprint. So that can either be deployed directly on Linux or on Hadoop, or any place where a Kubernetes cluster can run. So if you're using a technology like Google Anthos, you could actually push this technology into your data center. I mentioned when I described the Actian product portfolio that we have extensive native data integration capabilities as part of the portfolio. And what we've done is we've extended the Avalanche Cloud Data Warehouse that's at the center of this graphic to include those connectivity components. So that data integration is a native part of the platform. So if you look at to the left of the Avalanche Hybrid Cloud Data Warehouse bubble, we've got what we call the Avalanche Connect bubble. And what this allows you to do is to reach into data lakes, and these could be traditional Hadoop data lakes, or they may be cloud storage. We can get in there, we can get the data assets that you need to pull into the warehouse. We have a very smart query pushdown, so you're only going to pull in the components that are required into the data lake, and it's fast and it's very efficient. We can also connect to SaaS applications. Typically, we'll find that a cloud data warehouse is not most people's first step into cloud adoption. Typically what we'll find is that they're using Salesforce or NetSuite, ServiceNow. They've had success with those technologies and they want to expand their footprint in the cloud. The on-premises applications are not going away anytime soon, so we also provide connectivity to applications like maybe SAP sitting on top of Oracle, could be Microsoft Dynamics, all hugely important. Also, we find that we're not going to be able to build connectors for every technology that's out there, so we have a REST interface for any application that can support a REST interface we can connect to. And then finally, when it comes to Avalanche Connect, we've got support for streaming data via Kafka. Now, while we provide that capability, we recognize the fact that many of our prospects have made an investment in existing ETL and ELT technologies. So we also provide support for those, and that's represented in the top here in support for Informatica, Data Stage, and Talent. And then we have external tables support. So if you wanted to reference a data source that's sitting in a remote location, so maybe it's a Parquet file that's sitting on S3, we have the ability to represent that as an external table within the warehouse, and then to join that with the warehouse resident data. Our two main user communities are the business analyst community, and providing support for the tool set that they're comfortable with was important to us. So we've built out a set of connectors for enabling that business analyst tool set to work with Avalanche. And then in the data ecosystem, we find a lot of use of Python and KNIME and Jupyter notebooks and so on. So again, providing support for the tooling used by the data ecosystem users was hugely important as well. So a very rich set of connectors that enable us to get to a wide variety of data sources and serve the needs of two very important user constituencies for us. And as I've mentioned, performance is really important for us, but providing that real-time insight into what's happening into the business at this very second in time, right? I don't want to have a view of the business as it was yesterday. I need to know what's happening right now. So providing for that real-time view of the business through dashboards, through tools like Looker, Power BI, and so on was important to us. And that's what we've built this solution to do really well and really fast. Now, a couple of customers that we work with. This first one is the University of Oxford's Clinical Trials Services Unit, and probably their highest profile project that's going on at the moment is the work that they did with AstraZeneca on the COVID vaccine trial. And it was really important for them to be able to secure the data and deliver results really quickly. They needed to be able to analyze that data in a matter of seconds or minutes and not wait days for results to come back, because we were all very anxious for this vaccine to be thoroughly tested, the data and results to be analyzed quickly, and for approvals to happen. So we worked very closely with University of Oxford to deliver on some new security capabilities that they required for this data to enable them to be successful with that trial. We also work with the Automobile Association in the UK and Ireland, and where they're using the Avalanche technology today is as a customer or a prospective customer of theirs visits a website and enters information required to get a car insurance quote, they need to enrich that data. So as taking your name and your home address, maybe your phone number and the VIN for the car, they will then augment that information to understand how safe is the address where this car is going to be parked. Has the car been in accidents? Have you, as a driver, what's your driving record look like, and so on. And what they need to do is to take all of that input, calculate the risk associated with providing you with an insurance quote, make sure that the quote represents the risk that they're taking and that their underwriters can actually underwrite the insurance policy. And they need to do all of this within 2 seconds. That's their requirement. When you ask for a quote, they submit the data, they enrich it, they get the quote back to you within 2 seconds. That was hugely important to them, and that's why they adopted our technology. Our ability to enrich that data, provide the back and provide a quote that the insurance company now needs to stand behind. So, a couple of interesting use cases for our technology there. Now, I was showing earlier some of the performance numbers that we've managed to achieve relative to Snowflake. And what we've actually done now is we've put an offer in place whereby we guarantee that we can cut your Snowflake bill in half. So if you're using Snowflake today, or if you're anticipating using Snowflake in the near future, I would encourage you to come visit the Actian website, actian.com/avalanche, learn more about the technology and about this particular offer if it's interesting to you, and we'd love to have you try out the technology. So if you go to actian.com, you can actually try it for free. To the right-hand side in that green box is Try Avalanche for Free demo. So thanks for your interest today. At this point, I'm going to transfer it back over to you, Chris. Thanks a lot.
Okay, thanks very much. If you have questions, take them over to the Actian booth in the exhibit hall. There, you can use the discussion, leave your card, or during exhibit hall hours, join the live meeting. You can also find a demo from Actian, which is available on demand in the demo theater. Coming up in just a moment, Jim Kobielus will rejoin me to discuss the day's presentations, and we will review some key takeaways. I'll see you there.